So with me tonight, Keith Holder and Hendy Wallace, two cricketing pundits who both predicted that it was going to be a very close first test. Gentlemen, did you predict that the Windies would have been on the losing end? Keith, good evening. Welcome back.
Well, good evening, Barry, and good evening to viewers as well. Based on their performance in the first innings, Barry, and bearing in mind that although there were some eternal optimists from West Indies' perspective, it was always going to be difficult. You were coming up against two world-class bowlers with over 1,000 wickets all told in Muralitharan and Vass, and hence, once the West Indies were not able to sustain the partnerships, especially after the foundation was well laid by the overnight pair of the makeshift opener in Bravo, and then with the wonderful assistance which came from Sarwan. It was then probably, especially after tea, only a matter of time, and their cause wasn't helped by a couple crucial mistakes from two of the world's best known umpires in Simon Toffel, the Australian, and your close friend Billy Bowden from
well, I don't know how close he's going to be after making those mistakes. He was on this show up to last year, both of them actually, and it's a bit unfortunate what happened. Hendy, when you look at it overall, the West Indies almost drew the match, which would have been like a win for them, considering they were under so much pressure on day two.
Yeah, I thought they fought back well, and I think some kudos must go to Chris Gayle as well for, let's say, swallowing his ego, recognizing that there was a problem at the top of the innings against Shaminder Vass. The decision was taken, obviously a tactical decision, and it almost paid dividends. He put himself down the order, and sometimes the ego can get the better of you, where you think as an opening batsman you're supposed to go out there and try to deal with the problem. But I mean, Shaminder Vass had such a hold on Chris Gayle. It was good to see that he was able to go for the tactical move of going down the order, bringing a bit more experience in the lower middle order, and as I said, he played quite well.
Yeah, well, according to these gentlemen, two tactical errors by the umpires. I thought Ramnaresh Sarwan and Ryan Hines, perhaps those two, Suleiman Ben to a lesser extent. Let's first of all have a look, Keith, at this dismissal, and this is when Sarwan was given out by Bowden.
And somewhat belatedly, I thought, you look at the angle, Barry, and you recognize in a split second that the ball would have been clearly beaten leg, and a left armer around the wicket very wide, and the angle is going to take it inches past the leg stump. So, you know, Sarwan was hard done, but it's all part of the game.
Let's look at the next dismissal. It was Ryan Hines. After that, Sarwan left. He departed. Well played, 50. Well played, 72. I thought Sarwan overall in this Test match showed lots of maturity. Coming back and haven't played Test cricket in a while. But then Ryan Hines giving up caught down the leg side.
Well, there was no obvious deflection from what I can see on the monitor, and I could only imagine that Simon Toffel, who is a very good umpire, no mistake here, he could only have given that out on the noise, because I think Ryan Hines' bat may have hit the ground as well. And they tell me that the elite umpires don't make decisions on noises. I find that hard to believe sometimes, but there was no obvious deflection there on that occasion. And I could see Ryan Hines was very disappointed. So clearly an error made there by Simon Toffel. And for me, there was enough doubt anyway.
So when Hines was dismissed and departing for only just 10 runs, the West Indies at that stage never really recovered, despite Chris Gayle coming down and batting at number 6, making 51 not out. But in the end, unfortunately, Ramdin, who's having some back spasms, along with Suleiman Ben, who was a bit unfortunate as well. Taylor tried desperately again, but it was in the end Darren Powell, who I thought at one stage there was a single offered. The ball before he was dismissed, he struck a ball wide to long on. Chris Gayle didn't take the single, and unfortunately, Keith, he was out the very next ball, caught spectacularly by Muralitharan. Should have Gayle taken the single?
Well, that has been a debate, hindsight, Barry. He could have taken the single, and the next ball, his stumps could have been spread eagle. So it's easy to look back and say this or that should have been done. It's, you know, cricket, and these things do happen. All
right, the emails are coming in. As I said, you can send them to barry@line11.net. Our producer tells us we have some 7 emails in so far. Let's take in a couple emails.